So, this is more of a follow-up to a video I made 3 weeks ago, link in the card on the top right. At the end of that video, I said I would make a video talking about how I would fix WRC, given the people running it are doing everything in their power to have no one watch the sport. And, well, this is that video. Wish I had a proper intro for this, but I don't. Plus, I already said what I needed to say in my 2 previous WRC videos. I know I'm sounding like a broken record saying this, but link in the card on the top right for those 2 videos. I promise I won't say that again for the remainder of this video. Promise. Anyways, let's get on with this video, because I know that people are dying to hear my suggestions. First of all, let me put out a disclaimer. These are my suggestions, and also at the same time, my opinions. If you don't agree with any of the suggestions I bring up in this video, that's fine. I would love to hear everyone else's suggestions/opinions in the comment section below, but please keep it civil, don't have a full-blown argument down there. Thanks. Anyways, my suggestions. The first suggestion that I have for WRC, if I was running the show, is one that I have seen quite a lot on social media that I agree with. And no, it's not the point system, although that will come later on in this video, I promise. No, my first suggestion is getting rid of the Rally 1 regulations. Now, look, don't get me wrong, these cars look absolutely amazing to watch on the TV and are an absolute spectacle, especially on the night stages. And I am also aware that these regulations only came into fruition 2 years ago. However, let's be honest here, these cars are way too expensive. Not helped as well by the hybrid technology, which as we have seen with Formula 1 and more recently the British Touring Car Championship, it can get very expensive to run and could lead teams and even manufacturers to pull out. And if you look at the WRC, there are only 3 manufacturers, which are Toyota, Hyundai and Ford. Now, to be clear, these issues have been around before the Rally 1 rules came in. In 2017, there were new regulations that were brought in, which saw the cars look drastically different, thanks to the wild amount of aerodynamics on the cars, and also saw the cars be much quicker than the previous S2000 regulations. Cars that, even to this day with the Rally 1 regulations, are just as quick as the dangerous Group B cars from the 1980s. Going into the 2017 season, there were 4 manufacturers, which were Ford, Hyundai, Citroën and Toyota, who were making their return to the WRC that season. It was originally meant to be 5, courtesy of reigning champions that season Volkswagen. However, due to Dieselgate, which was a big scandal throughout 2016, Volkswagen ended up pulling out of WRC at the end of that season. However, in 2020, this was reduced to 3, as Citroën pulled out at the end of 2019. It was originally meant to be at the end of the 2020 season. However, when it was announced that Sébastien Ogier was going to be leaving the team a year before his contract was supposed to run out, Citroën decided to pull the plug a year early. Since then, the series has struggled to attract another manufacturer, and the move to hybrid technology in 2022, along with the introduction of the Rally 1 regulations, only added to that struggle. And yes, before anybody brings it up, I am fully aware that there were rumours about Subaru potentially returning in the next couple of years. However, given that Toyota owns Subaru, and the fact that they already have a team in WRC, I don't really count that. And plus, it's highly unlikely that will happen anyway. So, what would I replace Rally 1 with, I hear you ask? Well, Rally 2.
You serious?
Yes, I am serious, J. Jonah Jameson. Now, look, I understand that the sound of having a lower class set of regulations to replace the Rally 1 regulations might sound a bit weird, but hear me out. These cars aren't slow coaches by any means of the imagination. The current Rally 2 cars used in WRC2 are just as quick as the cars that were used in the late 90s all the way up to the 2010s, and these cars are held at high regards with some of the best cars the WRC has ever produced. Now, looks wise, I get it. They look nothing like those cars, and if anything, they look more like the S2000 cars. But here's the thing. These cars produce a lot of excitement, and WRC2 as a whole is a very exciting and close championship to watch. And more importantly, they are a lot cheaper to run. With a Rally 1 car, the only thing that's similar to your everyday road car with that series is the shape. That's it. Everything else on the shell, such as the aerodynamics and also inside the car, have been built to go rallying. Whereas in Rally 2, the cars share a closer resemblance to the cars you drive every day on the road, as along with the shape and also the shell of the car, the dashboard is also the same that you get in your standard road car. Also, to go back on the shell, it hasn't got a lot of wild aerodynamics, meaning the cars aerodynamically look more cleaner, which, as you know, the less aerodynamic parts you have on the shell, the more cheaper it is. And do you want to know the best bit? These regulations will attract more manufacturers. As mentioned earlier, in the Premier class of WRC, there are only 3 manufacturers, whereas in WRC 2, there are 6. Granted, 2 of them are private entries, but the point still stands. In the series, there's Skoda, Ford, Citroën, Hyundai, Volkswagen, although the homologation for its Polo GTI R5 runs out very soon, and also Volkswagen and Skoda are the same company, and of course Toyota, who recently just made their debut in WRC2 this past weekend. And going back to the private entries bit, along with having fully fledged manufacturer teams, you could also have privateer teams, something that the Premier class has had a lack of for a number of years. And even when there has been, they've always been listed under the manufacturer team name. Now, how would I ensure that there is technology in the cars that will attract the manufacturers going forward? Well, that would have to be the hybrid technology. Now, yes, as mentioned earlier, hybrid technology is very expensive, and if not applied properly, could get out of control, which in turn would drive the costs up. Now, I'm not an expert on hybrid technology, as you can probably tell, but the FIA is, given they are the ones who are in charge of the technical and sporting regulations. So what I would do if I was the FIA is not have hybrid technology to start with, but use the time in between bringing in the Rally 2 regulations to the Premier class and bringing in the hybrid technology to figure out how to implement the technology in a cost-effective way to ensure the sport doesn't get expensive again and lead to manufacturers pulling out. So basically, use the current Rally 2 regulations as a stopgap to ensure the series gets back on its feet, and then in time, once the FIA figures out a brilliant way to make it cost effective to use, bring back the hybrid technology. Okay, I think I've spoken enough about the car regulations, and plus if the rumours are to be believed, then it looks like we could be switching to the Rally 2 cars anyway in 2025, regardless of the fact that Hyundai are currently developing a new Rally 1 car. So let's move on to the next set of suggestions. The next suggestion I have is to bring back a rule that was used between 2004 and 2016, and that is having only a maximum of 2 drivers score manufacturer points. Now, granted, we don't have enough manufacturers at the moment to do that. However, going back to my suggestion of replacing the Rally 1 regulations with Rally 2 regulations, hopefully with these regulations in time, we should have more of them. So I'm not saying implement this rule off the bat, but once there is enough manufacturers in the series, then implement that rule. Teams can still have more than 2 drivers if they want to, but like we saw in the past, they can nominate 2 drivers to score manufacturer points for each rally. And if we have enough privateers in the series, then I would also have a teams championship to go alongside the manufacturers championship, as I didn't agree with how they did it in the past, which was to add the privateer teams to the manufacturers standings. It made the name of the championship sound counterproductive. The next suggestion is also kind of an obvious one: more rallies. For me, and this is my opinion, 13 rallies isn't enough for me. When I started watching WRC in 2004, I always grew up with the series having between 14 to 16 rallies. For me, that range is a good enough calendar size in my opinion. And hopefully with this range, they can bring back some rallies that we as fans have been desperate to make a return, such as Rally New Zealand, Rally Australia, and, trying my best not to be biased here, a rally in the UK, whether that be Wales or even the Rally of Great Britain that was around during the 90s. Any excuse to bring back the Woollerton Park Spectator stage. And yes, in case you haven't figured out, I am from Nottingham. My favourite football team is Nottingham Forest, if anyone is wondering. You Reds! Sorry for the cringe. Moving on. The next suggestion I have is to solve an issue that WRC has had for a long time, to the best of my ability, and that is to have a qualifying stage. Now, this type of stage was used previously by the WRC between 2012 and 2014 and is currently being used in another rally championship that is also owned by WRC promoter, that being the European Rally Championship. The day before the rally begins, a select number of drivers will take part in a stage called the qualifying stage, which is often determined by who the quickest drivers are during the shakedown stage. The quickest driver in the qualifying stage would be allowed to choose what position they want to start in the first leg of the rally. This is the same rule that WRC used when they had this system. However, in 2024, the qualifying stage for ERC will have a slight change. Basically, whatever the result is in the qualifying stage will determine each driver's road position rather than the drivers choosing where they want to start. And this will vary depending on the type of surface they are rallying on. So for example, if the event is a tarmac rally, then the driver who is the quickest on the qualifying stage will be first on the road order. However, if the event is held on a loose surface, such as gravel or snow, then the driver who is quickest on the qualifying stage will be last on the road order instead of first. Currently, the road order in WRC is determined by the order of the Drivers' Championship, which, as we have seen with Formula E with the old group qualifying system, essentially punishes drivers for leading the championship, and especially in WRC, where most of the calendar is comprised of gravel rallies. So even though there is no fix for ensuring the surface is clean for everyone, having the same system that ERC is using for this season for the WRC will ensure it's fair for everyone, and if you don't perform well in both the shakedown, which every driver gets numerous goes at, and the qualifying stage, you will be punished for that on the first leg and will more than likely have to make up the time in the remaining leg of the rally. The penultimate suggestion I have involves the power stage, and specifically how to make it even more exciting. Because the stage awards bonus points, why not allow the teams to have the option of changing tyres before the stage starts? Currently, the tyres the drivers use on the power stage are usually the same ones that get fitted on the final surface break before the drivers compete on the last few stages of the rally. But given it's a power stage, and given there are points on offer for the fastest drivers on that stage, surely it would make sense for the teams to change tyres before blasting it on that stage. That way, the drivers are able to go flat out, and it means there is a very low chance that a driver would need to back off in order to preserve their tyres. The idea of the stage is for the drivers to go flat out in order to get the bonus points, so surely giving them the tools to do that, i.e. fresh tyres, should ensure that happens. But now we come to the final suggestion, and I'm pretty sure it's the suggestion that everyone wants me to talk about: the point system. So, as we know by now, as mentioned in a video I made 3 weeks ago, the WRC currently has the worst point system I've ever seen implemented in any series. And I say currently because in the run-up to Rally Monte Carlo, which has just gone by, it was reported that the FIA could consider ditching the awful point system and more than likely go back to the previous point system if they felt it was too confusing for the fans. It's not just the fact that it is confusing, FIA, it's also downright stupid and also makes no logical sense. Anyways, back on topic. The thing is, okay, even though this point system makes no sense, I do understand why they wanted to change it. However, they went about it completely the wrong way, and it was very clear from the people viewing on the outside that it wasn't thought through properly and had clearly been rushed. I mean, the fact that you don't get points anymore for the overall results, I think backs that point up. So what would I do to fix this? Well, obviously, get rid of it, and go back to the previous point system, as there was nothing wrong with the previous one, outside of it aiding domination in a way. To use a cliche quote, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, if the FIA are so insistent on having a different point system, here's what I would do. For starters, and this should be obvious, there should be points that goes towards the overall results. I know that sounds obvious, but given the point system the FIA implemented for this year, it clearly isn't obvious for everyone. So the point system I've come up with is this. Now, as you can see, it is once again the top 10 that gets points. However, instead of first place receiving 25 points, they instead receive 30 points. Second place once again receives 18 points to give more meaning to first place, and third place receives 12 points instead of 15. Then fourth place receives 8 points, fifth place receives 6 points, with it going all the way down to 10th, which receives 1 point. Now, straight away, people will look at that and think, surely this increases the chance of domination happening in the sport. And I do hear that. However, this is only part of the point system. And no, these aren't Saturday points, don't worry, I'm not dumb enough to fall for that. However, my point system actually has bonus points on offer, which is the only thing I agreed with the change of point system the FIA introduced. However, unlike the FIA, I'm actually going to award the bonus points correctly. So there are two types of bonus points on offer. One is the power stage, of course, which is the last stage of the rally and will allow the drivers to change tyres before that stage starts. And the other is what I'm going to call day points. Now what is day points, I hear you ask? Well, it says it in the name. After each day has finished, there will be bonus points awarded, which go to the top 3 drivers who were fastest across the day's stages. So for example, if you were fastest across the Friday stages, you will receive 3 points, with the second fastest across Friday receiving 2 points, and the third fastest across Friday receiving 1 point. This will be the same for the Saturday and Sunday stages, meaning there is a total of 9 bonus points on offer for being quickest across the Friday, Saturday and Sunday stages. By having these bonus points, it will ensure that the drivers go flat out more on those stages than preserving if they have a big lead, for example. But what about the power stage? Well, and this may sound controversial what I'm about to say, but only one driver should get a bonus point for that in my opinion, and that obviously would be the fastest driver. Now that might sound a bit weird given what I mentioned earlier about the tyre change before the stage. However, if we're going to have bonus points for the fastest drivers across each day, then I feel the power stage should have less emphasis given it's only one stage instead of a day's worth of stages, which is what the day points go towards. Also, the other reason I've done this is to ensure that the winner of the rally gets the most points after the rally is concluded, regardless of whether they get bonus points or not. As mentioned in my video talking about the stupid point system 3 weeks ago, winning a rally should feel important, and the best way to do this is to ensure the rally gets the most points after a weekend is concluded, and also to ensure that if any drivers around them get bonus points, they won't get more than the winner. So that's what I would do for the power stage. Whoever the fastest driver is on the power stage will receive 1 bonus point, and that's it. Everyone else gets nothing from that stage. And that's the point system I would go for. Obviously, I would prefer the series to go back to the previous point system we had last year, but if the FIA were so insistent on having a change to the point system, this is what I would go for. Let me know what you would do in the comments below. I would love to read your thoughts. Again, these are my opinions at the end of the day, and if you disagree with any of them, let me know in the comments and tell me what you would do better. Thanks for watching everyone. This took a long time to think about and also to write a script about, so I would much appreciate it if you were to give this video a like, and if you haven't done already, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload or even a post from the community tab. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks for the next video and the start of the next 4-week video cycle.